Hi, I'm Solitaire Miles, lead singer for Susie Blue and the Lonesome Fellas. And we have a new album out. It's called Blue Train.
Cold steel rails or old wooden ties.
This is our third album, and it's a combination of blues, jazz, rockabilly, and roots music, recorded in Chicago with great Chicago musicians.
Blue train took my baby away.
It's jazzy, it's bluesy, it's rockabilly, it's rootsy. It's got all of that in 16 songs. I picked the best musicians that I could find in the Chicago area, including Howard Levy on harmonica, Neil Alger on guitar, Phil Gratteau, who's a wonderful drummer, Chris Bernhardt on bass. We've got Jack Gallagher playing trombone and Eric Schneider playing saxophone, Tom Hope on piano, Don Stille plays Hammond organ, and really amazing singers like Jen Zayas and Mike Harvey, who are wonderful vocalists and arrangers from the Chicago area. And I'm so honored and pleased to have Dominic Halpin on the duet, Forever Yours.
I'd die 1,000 times just to prove you're mine.
And just to let you know I care.
My life is in your hands. Please, darling, understand that
I'm sure
I'll always be forever yours.
There's a little something for everyone in Blue Train.
I got the words, I got the tune. I'd like to croon it under the moon, but I got nobody to hear my song, so I'm a humming to myself.
I wanted to create something that cheered people up or lifted their spirits. And so here's a collection of 16 fun, upbeat tunes that aren't very serious at all, but have some really serious playing on them.
Going out of my mind.
I've been singing in the Chicago area for the last 20 years, and I began singing in the early 1990s with renowned swing violinist Johnny Frigo.
Is mush, stifling those who strive. I live a lush life in some small dive.
Johnny was a jazz violinist at that time, but what a lot of folks don't know about Johnny is that he worked as a Western swing fiddle player for WLS on their show, the WLS Barn Dance in the 1950s. So Johnny taught me a lot about different genres of jazz and swing. I also worked with a wonderful saxophone player in Chicago, Von Freeman.
Comes love, nothing can be done.
And I recorded an album of jazz standards with Johnny and Vaughn, as well as Chicago pianist Willie Pickens.
Clover being green is a color I've never seen, 'cause I was born to be blue.
I was really lucky to work and record with these great jazzmen. And in the mid-90s, I took my career to New York City, where I was fortunate and blessed to work with the great Doc Cheatham, who was the lead trumpeter for Cab Calloway's band. Doc was a really wonderful musician and a singer, and I learned a lot about phrasing and picking tunes from Doc, because Doc didn't always play, your average jazz standard. I mean, he would if you asked him to, but he had a lot of really interesting old standards that he did too. Doc had so much experience and had seen so much in his life. And when I met him, he was very, very kind, generous, and nurturing to young artists. So I returned to Chicago from living in New York City in the early 2000s and began working with pianist Willie Pickens, and we performed a lot at the Jazz Showcase.
Pray each night for someone exactly like you.
We recorded a couple albums. Our most infamous album was Born to be Blue, which made the jazz charts around 2010, I think. Anyhow, had some great experience working in jazz for 20 years. And I think it was about 2014, I was getting ready to make another recording. I was talking to my friend Scott Yanow, who's a jazz critic, and he said, "Oh, please, not another album of jazz standards. I can't bear to listen to another middle-aged woman record an album of jazz standards. Please don't record My Funny Valentine." And so I thought about it, and I thought, well, what could I do that would be different? And I had just moved to Northwest Indiana, just outside of downtown Chicago, on the east side of downtown Chicago. And I began working with a Western swing band, doing all sorts of early retro country tunes. And I thought, well, wouldn't that be an interesting and different thing to record, Western swing? And so I got the band together, and instead of just going out as Solitaire Miles, which I had done for the last 20 years as a jazz singer, I came up with this fun name for the band, Susie Blue and the Lonesome Fellas. And we recorded an album of 12 Western swing standards. Western swing is retro country music from the 1940s, which is really a kind of crossover of roots and swing music. And we had a lot of success with that. We got a lot of really great reviews. Downbeat gave us 4.5 stars, and they said that my voice was like a combination of Patsy Cline and Billie Holiday, which was such a thrill for me because I love both of those singers.
Yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-oh, ghost riders in the sky. Yippee-yi-yo-kai, yo-kai, yippee-yi-yo-kai.
So as Susie Blue and the Lonesome Fellas, we've recorded 2 albums of Western swing, but this new one, Blue Train, is a little different from anything that I've ever done.
I'm going home to see my baby, big sweet baby of mine. Been so long without my baby that sometimes I feel I'm plumb going out of my mind.
And so I'd like to think of our new album as a reflection of the time period from 1957 to 1964, where you had rockabilly, blues, country, jazz, and roots music and rock and roll all coming together. The only thing you can count on in life is change. Everything changes. Music changes. It evolves. And right now, a lot of young kids are taking the best out of jazz and putting it into pop, or taking pop and putting it into blues or jazz, and mishmashing it all up.
Choo-choo train, chugging down the track. Gotta travel on, never coming back. Ooh, ooh, got a one-way ticket to the blue.
And this is kind of like a dynamic period, I think, in music. And so I decided to sort of mix it up a little myself. And I chose a lot of material from the late 1950s and the early 1960s because that was also a very dynamic period in music history. You had great singers like Elvis, who came from like a gospel and country background, creating rock and roll. You had Bill Haley and the Comets, who were originally a Western swing band, creating rock and roll. And a lot of really great early R&B bands creating music and all blending it together between like 1956 and 1964. I mean, music just exploded, and it was really hard to define genres because everybody was taking and sharing and stealing from each other. And so I found a lot of really obscure tunes. And I also have a couple of originals. Blue Train is a song that was written by a wonderful songwriter in LA, Mel Harker.
Cold steel rails, old wooden ties, black as coal smoke against some cloudy skies. Blue train took my baby away. Down to the depot, I even held your pack. You said, don't worry, honey, I'll soon be coming back. Blue train took my baby away.
I wanted to create something that cheered people up or lifted their spirits. And so here's a collection of 16 fun, upbeat tunes that aren't very serious at all, but have some really serious playing on them. One of the most popular songs on the album so far has been a Ruth Brown favorite, Lucky Lips, which is just really fun, and it features Eric on saxophone and Jennifer doing some really cute girl backgrounds with me.
Lucky lips are always kissing. Lucky lips are never blue. Lucky lips will always find a pair of lips that will be true.
One of the more popular tunes on the album is the Peter Gunn theme, which features a great horn section as well as guitar, and I bet you didn't know it had lyrics. It does! The only singer I know to have ever sung the lyrics for the Peter Gunn theme would be Sarah Vaughan, and Henry Mancini had the lyrics written for Sarah Vaughan specifically. I'm no Sarah Vaughan, really, but I have been a jazz singer for 20 years, and I took a really good stab at it. And folks love the song. It's the last one on the CD. It kind of finishes it off. And it's very fun.
Every night your line is busy. All that buzzing makes me dizzy. Couldn't count on all my fingers all the dates you had with swingers. Bye. Bye, bye, baby. I'm gonna kiss you goodbye and go right through that doorway. So long, I'm leaving. This is the last time we'll meet on the street going your way.
I'm really proud of this compilation. I'm so proud of the engineering work that went into it. I worked with Steve Yates Recording in Chicago. I think that it has a really nice live sound, which is appropriate for the time period. We tried to bring you a piece of history, and we tried to make the music sound energetic and authentic. We're not some cheesy cover band covering a song from 1958. We've become the music of 1958. We've recreated it in our souls for you to enjoy in 2022. Thank you. I hope you really enjoy all that we put into Blue Train.
I'm through now with you now.